Estis cruento filomaxus pretia cruento.
Hello, I'm Sarah Houston. Unfortunately, Sassy couldn't be here because she's on her way to have her body painted, and also having an existential crisis after a quick review. Instead, I'm taking her place. So welcome to part 2 of Gothic Terror of the mid-90s, starring me, and hopefully I won't lose my sexy voice midway through the review. Blood, the Duke Nukem of horror. And that is the most generic way to start a review. Okay, quick history lesson about the build engine. Ken Silverman was contracted by Apogee to create a 3D engine when he was still in university. Started in 93, he finished it in 95, and it was updated till he released the source code in 2000. Some of the main features are room-over-room chicory, voxels, and diagonal sectors. It's been used in 3 well-known shooters and some crap in between. And with the release of its code, D232 was released and used in the engine's most recent game, Fury. And as for the 3D games, there's Duke Nukem 3D, released in 96, very well known for its tongue-in-cheek comedy parodying action flicks and its interactivity, Shadow Warrior, which parodies martial arts flicks, as well as having a racist caricature for a protagonist, apologies, and then there's the topic of today's video. I could use a drink right now. Blood was released in 1997, and unlike the other two where they're made by 3D Realms, this one was made by Monolith, the people behind No One Lives Forever, Fear, and the Middle Earth games later on. During development, 3D Realms sold the IP to Monolith, but the publishing rights went to GT Interactive, who got merged with Infogrames and later became Atari SA. So basically Sassy gave money to a hollow shell of a company. What the frick is wrong with her? Now the IP is owned by Warner Bros., yet the publishing rights still belongs to Atari, so it's even more complicated. Also, unlike the other two, its source code hasn't been released yet, but there is a remaster from the people at Nightlight Studios called Fresh Supply, and fans made source ports of it, few using its leaked alpha code, and a lot of reverse engineering, notably Blood GTX and N-Blood. I'll of course be playing the remaster despite its few problems that still hasn't been fixed since its launch, but I still recommend the source ports, especially the latter. Hell, anything that isn't DOSBox is better, unless it's called Blood Reborn. That one sucks. Jeez, how many logos are there? Unlike Quake, this takes the traditional way of choosing episodes and difficulty from Doom and other build games. We start with the Shara episode, The Way of All Flesh, and player on pink on the inside. Game journalist joke! It starts with a cutscene where Caleb and the other 3 chosen are standing before Chernobog. He tells them he's disavowing them, which leads to Gabriel getting captured by a giant spider, Ishmael being burned by fire dogs, and Caleb's girlfriend Ophelia taken away by a big gargoyle. As for Caleb, he gets sent into the void and die, only to come back from a grave.
I've taken your love. Now I will take your life. Consider my power in a hollow grave.
And so he seeks revenge to avenge his friends. Kind of like when I quit my job. I am sorry, but since you've caused a first-degree murder, we have to incarcerate you. For life. Actually, that's not true. Those 2 cops got fired and their boss thought they're crazy. Well, there's that conclusion. The game plays like your standard FPS game. You can jump and crouch to get into air vents and also make the closest aiming shit. It's definitely recommended on the harder difficulties. It feels so good to play with loads of freedom of movement, despite this being a 2.5D game. You can't look all the way up, jumping feels weird when it comes to height changes, and rooms over rooms don't sound convincing. Yeah, it's primitive, but it gets the job done. And with the inclusion of voxels, detailed rooms, and interactivity, it puts Quake to shame, not to mention the colors and variety. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the zombies. If you hear this sound when attacking them, they're not really dead, only when a more pronounced scream plays. It's like Quake, only you don't need to shield them. Then you have the cultists and the fanatics, who can either have shotguns and machine guns. On hard difficulties they can throw dynamite at you, which is fun. Even then, they're so accurate, especially the fanatics. They also speak in some combination of Latin and Sanskrit.
Maranats and fear books!
Unless you burn them. Calm down. Your therapist told you that if it's only on the screen, it won't harm you. Well, at least they're burning and not me. Then you have rats, which are tiny annoying idiots, even more so when they're onto you. Bats are harmless, so there's that. Starting at Dark Carnival, it's the gargoyles who can throw bones at you and are resistant to bullets, so a reverse shambler. They're fast and most of the time like to fly way high, making them harder targets to kill. When you're underwater, there's the bone eels, which are just cannon fodder for you. And that's all the enemies you'll encounter in the first episodes. Sometimes they drop hearts, which replenish 20 health points, weapons, ammo for your weapons, or a key to progress. As for its weapons, you start with a pitchfork, which is quite useful when you run out of ammo, which is common in the harder difficulties. Not for long though, as you'll get some dynamites from these secrets. Minus the pitchfork, every weapon has a secondary fire. For TNT bundles, left clicking will throw them and explode upon contact. Holding it will make you throw it longer, and right clicking when left clicking will make them act as grenades. Right clicking twice will just drop one. Explosions have never been so enjoyable. Then you have the flare gun, which will burn your enemies with enough shots. Its alternate fire will shoot a devastating bunch of flares in a pattern. The start off is really great. I almost always right click to shoot both barrels, and since Callum can reload his weapon fast, it makes this one of the best shotguns in any FPS game. Maybe better than the super shotgun from Doom 2. Don't bother killing me. If you do, I'll just come back. Its chain gun equivalent, the Tommy gun, is also really good, and it can do this. Finally, in episode 1, there's a napalm launcher, which acts like a rocket launcher, except it can do this ridiculous attack when you right click. You can find it on the first level in a super secret, but otherwise, he's introduced in map 4. And speaking of maps, the odd numbered episodes have 8 maps total, while the even numbered ones have 9, 7 away respectively if you don't bother finding the secret levels like I did. Some of them are mazy, like really mazy. For first time players, you easily get lost for most of the time. First level is sort of straightforward, when you learn about the enemies and exploring barriers which can create shortcuts back to the start, so you won't have to backtrack all the way there. Starting from the second, they will get more convoluted to navigate, but in the second playthrough it will become second nature. Sometimes. This is my second time playing Dark Carnival, and I still get lost. I don't even know where to go next here. The key is these gargoyles drop blend into the wall, and they almost all look the same, unlike in Doom. Also, there's 6 in the game, they're designated by these symbols: knife, skull, spider, eye, fire, and moon. It makes traversing the levels complicated, even more so when you have to find all of them in one level. The enemy count gets increased, even more into ludicrous levels on the harder difficulties. You will pray for this to be over on extra crispy. The Great Temple, the last level of episode 1 before the boss stage, has over 100 enemies to kill, including those innocents that won't attack you. Starting from still kicking, it has 144 goons to 276. Fuck me!
Ophelia. Show yourself! Show yourself!
Holy fuck, that was so out of character of you. The first boss of the game is Shiog, a stone gargoyle and the leader of the gargoyles. He's quite the son of a bitch to beat, being the most powerful of the bosses. Cerberus is close, but still weaker. After that shit, Caleb burns the body of Ophelia and shoots Shiog in the head, just in case. Episode 2, Even Death May Die. The first level quickly introduces the guild beasts when you get underwater. They go so fast and get so close to you, making it hard to kill them. They are much easier on the ground though. Most of the level takes place in his boat, where it's full of cultists, so be careful. This introduces 2 different types of dynamites: remote detonated ones and proximity ones. I almost never use them, so why can't I use them as forever bundles that explode on contact instead? You also have the voodoo doll, which hurt enemies by pinching them. Although if you pinch it with no one in sight, it will hurt you. Using the remaining energy makes it feel like the BFG from Doom. Like Duke Nukem 3D with its action references, it likes to throw in horror references from Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, The Shining, Evil Dead, Jaws.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
As well as stuff that don't have anything to do with horror.
That's all, folks.
Stephen Wade provided the voice of Caleb, and he does a great performance with his rugged voice.
I live again. I hate mimes. Fresh victims for the ever-growing army of the undead. I want Jojo! I want Jojo! Jojo! Jojo!
His laughs when things explode are maniacal, and I love it. The second level introduces the bloated butchers, who either throw cleavers or puke, and they take a beating. It also introduces spiders of various types. The red ones make you dizzy, while the green and black ones make you black out for a split second. Just as annoying as the rats. Speaking of which, dismembered hands will choke you and you must stab E to take them off. Finally, you have the phantoms. You only hurt them when they go opaque, usually when they swing the scythe at you or launch those ghost skulls. And they're so loud. Goddammit, Ready Pitch Fuck! Episode 2 is all well and good, but god, I fucking hate the haunting. Yeah, it's creepy, atmospheric is great, but it's just huge and I get lost every fucking time. It makes Quake 1 feel like Call of Duty in terms of level structure. I had to find all the keys to finish the level, and it's a pain to find them. I'm pretty sure I did laps around this spot several times in my first playthrough. It took me 30 minutes to get over this level, which is around the same amount of time it took to finish the last 4 maps combined. It makes Dark Carnival look like a snooze in comparison. I'm actually glad we moved away from non-linear levels in FPSs. For a while. After the next 2 maps that are not as mazy as that, you confront the giant spider known as Sheol, who kidnapped Gabriel and turned into a cocoon. Or should I refer to them as Gabriella?
Hey, she-bitch, let's go.
She gives birth to spiders, which makes it harder. It also makes me question the developer's knowledge of animal biology, but who cares about that? Kill it becomes centralized clay for a while.
Along came a spider and sat down beside her and said, "What's in the bowl, bitch?"
And you eat Gabriella's heart.
Forgive me, old friend. Truly, truly, I say unto you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you.
God damn, that's so hardcore. Well, I'm halfway into the game and... Huh?
Don't move a muscle.
You better start running, honey. I don't take kindly to strangers.
Hey, don't fret.
It's just me, Lily.
Oh, hey Lily. Nice outfit, even though it's a bit more late 90s considering what it's based on. How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great. Business is doing good. Me, I'm here for Sassy. I got a date with her.
Wait, you're a girlfriend now?
Yeah, well, I'm actually more in love with her demonic side. I had a crush on her since I witnessed her 2 months ago. And now, we love each other.
Oh god, that edgy emo Letitia? Didn't know you're into a model from Voodoo Graphics card box.
Oh dear. Are we back in the late 2000s or what? She's way more into punk than your neoliberal ass will ever be. Yeah, she may be edgy, but she actually takes really good care of me. You'll know that everyone has a good side. Except for fascists and billionaires, of course.
Look, I have to pretend I'm some neoliberal fuck in my talk show. I'm actually more punk than that. Whenever I leave for my show in New York, I blast The Clash, Suicide, whatever old school punk rock I like in my car, all the way to Canada. As well as some goth rock when I'm in the mood.
You're still doing your show for money.
Well, I need some money in a better way, buddy. I had a worse job as a cop, you know. As for Sassy, she's out for a while.
Can I wait here?
Sure.
I feel like I'm in a polyamorous relationship with the same person.
Farewell to Arms is a mostly city-themed episode, going through carpet-bombed areas, the sewers, a hospital, a factory, and a reservoir. And... this introduces the Hellhounds. Oh no. They spew fire, meaning that they're resistant to flaming weapons, as well as lava. You're gonna see them throughout the episode and the next one. They react to electricity, which means the Tesla cannon is introduced in level 2. Basically a burst fire version of the plasma rifle, and it's a blessing. Kills gargoyles and hellhounds very easily, and the secondary fire is also ridiculous. It even works on the water. Take that, lightning gun! I forgot to mention about the aerosol can. It can be used as a flamethrower or as a fire grenade with a great radius that burns anyone in there.
You seem to be shaking more whenever anything related to fire is mentioned.
Oh, no need to worry about it. There are many pickups in this game. There's the guns akimbo, which gives you double the firepower, invisibility and invulnerability, which is self-explanatory, different types of armor, normal, fire, and spirit, Life Seeds, which gives you 100 health at the maximum of 200, and then there's the toggleable ones. The Medkit will replenish your health up to 100, it will remain until you need it. Jump Boost, which makes you jump higher and negate fall damage. They deplete fast, so if you don't need them, switch them off. And the Diving Suit, which is only activated when you go underwater. Right, after getting lost many times due to how keys look mostly the same, and how really amazed the levels are, or probably my stupidity, I managed to get inside Super's lab and... Ah, god damn it, Sarah! Come on your feet. See, I told you not to review blood. Sorry about that. Sarah became pyrophobic after a parking lot incident.
Oh. So that's why she didn't show images of the recent fire in her talk show. I'm so sorry for her.
Supers may be as strong as Shark, but with enough Tesla ammo and some napalm, ironically, they're defeated in no time, obviously. And just in case, Caleb put some remote detonators inside.
Rest in pieces.
You know what, I'm gonna play the last episode on Nightlight Royal. That was a big mistake! Episode 4 expects you to have familiarized with the movement and the tactics of the game on the harder difficulties. The first 2 levels are short yet difficult, but then you have Charnel House and this part. It's also quite long, like Crystal Lake. That one is not as bad though. Half the levels are short, like Fire and Brimstone. And then there's the Ganglion Depths, where it throws the stone gargoyle at the beginning. Thanks. And 3 murder spiders. Fun. Then you have In the Flesh. The less said about it, the better. This episode gives you the Life Leech, which fires magic at them, and it can also be a sentry when right-clicked. If you run out of ammo, it'll take out your health in exchange for it. Seems like a worthy trade-off, but somehow I don't use it much. Finally, the Match of the Century or something like that. Isn't it funny that In the Flesh and House of Epiphany feel unconnected to each other?
I have awaited you.
Why did you cast us down?
You were always loyal to me. You most of all, my child.
Then why?
Because I knew you would return. Can you not see? Every life that you have taken has made you stronger. And you have returned to me with a greater sacrifice than I ever could have wished. With the power you bring, I shall throw open the door between the worlds and inherit the earth.
I had to do a few edits because not much is happening in this cutscene.
Fool, you were already dead.
Before you fight him, you must confront with a boss rush of the first 3 bosses. Shiog is still an asshole. And finally, Shutterbug himself, who is easily defeated.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with a gun.
By the way, he has the least health points than any other boss. It's pathetic! You should go into the pit of disappointing final bosses, next to the Spider Mastermind. The last cutscene shows Caleb seeing the body of his master disappearing, and we see some rando spinning some nonsense, only for Caleb to shoot him. Damn, he doesn't give a shit if the world plunged into madness after Shutterbug took over. All he cares about is avenging his friends and killing the Dark God in a revenge-filled adventure. And he succeeded. And I can relate to that.
What?
God damn it, Letitia! Stop making me saying these foul phrases! The graphics are still good, being sprite-based most of the time. Flash Supply using the Kex engine has many visual improvements like DirectX support, widescreen, ambient occlusion, and increased amount of voxel models. Yet it can feel disjointed, if I'm saying the right word, when put next to the enemies. I love the detail in the levels though. Its atmosphere and themes are just pleasant to see. The cutscenes, however, are crap. Holy hell. I know this was from 1997 and they probably didn't have the budget for Tomb Raider quality cutscenes, but they could have done more to fix these janky animations. Also, Caleb is supposed to have hair, but due to bad communication between the dev team and the cinematics team, he's bald. Not my Caleb. Sound is great as well. So I already mentioned Killer's voice, but special mentions go to Schoenberg as well, being voiced by the then CEO of Monolith, Jason Hall.
What is your bidding, Master?
You have failed me. I disavow you all.
Music can either be played on MIDIs or CD audio. Honestly, I prefer the former, even if they don't sound as ambient-like as the latter. I don't know, I much prefer MIDIs in Build Engine games. That isn't to say the CD audio is bad, it's quite sinister and atmospheric. I kinda like it, but still. That was Blood, at least fresh supply. It was better of me to not compare with the DOS version, but it's still better than Blood GDX or End Blood. Slightly. It still has its few problems, and thanks to Atari, they lifted the license from Nightlight, leaving future updates on an uncertain path. Still better than when it was launched. It was a disaster, but Nightlight fixed most of them, and fans now love it. I love it too. Even with its difficulty, it is fairly challenging and enjoyable at times. While it did not sell as good as the other big two, it gathered a cult following. It is considered as the best of the three. I recommend getting it, even if it means giving money to Atari. There have been 2 official expansion episodes, Cryptic Passage and Postmortem, which is included in the Plasma Pack at first. Play any version you like, even the DOS version, despite having a difficulty change when loading a save game. Just don't play Blood Reborn, I swear.
Well, off to our date. Nice to see that you're going with the Necris look.
I've done this before since last year.
And nice nails you have there.
Huh? Oh, yeah, they're good looking. I painted it myself.
That's funny. I thought Sir would do those for you. Meh. Let's go do some spooky stuff.
Sassy, I am sensing something nasty happening in your future. Let's get even, Sassy. Or better yet, Sarah Houston. It's probably nothing.